Hello everyone, Steve here from Tech Toy Tinker and Retro Arena. Today I'm going to give you guys a brief tutorial as to how to compile and run Dolphin from source. The first thing you want to do is start off by cloning the Git. You can pause the video and copy this address over into your terminal or into your screen real quick. This will be a couple of minutes because it's, I think, 350, 400 megabytes file size. So we're going to have to give this a minute. There are some other things you can do with your time if you want to, instead of just particularly sitting around and waiting for this one task. You can go to the Dolphin wiki, which I will link in this video. The Dolphin wiki will give you a list of prerequisites or libraries that you will need to install in order to be able to run Dolphin properly. I chose to do this on the Odroid H2 Plus because every time I try to build it on a different version of Ubuntu, I inevitably run into some kind of error or snag. And so I thought that it would make for a good tutorial video because inevitably I'm going to run into an error or two and I'm going to have to go through and figure out what they are before it will let me build at all. And it's something many of you are going to encounter on different flavors of Linux and different devices out in the wild as well. So it'd be beneficial to show that process. Maybe I'll just show you guys the wiki here real quick while we're waiting. It's also a good resource for error messages too. You can, a lot of times when a compiler error happens, you can just Google it and it will tell you exactly what the error is. If that happens, I will show you that as well. This should bring up probably the first result. Yep. This page will give me a list of prerequisites along with build instructions, which I don't particularly... I've built this enough times that I know what the instructions are, but it never hurts to reinstall all these and make sure they're all installed as well, because sometimes you might think you have them, but something might be missing. As soon as this finishes cloning the Git, you want to cd into the Dolphin folder, and then you want to type make dir build and cd build, which I'll show you in a moment, but that will make your folder that you need. The password for the H2 and many other builds is Thera, or T-H-E-R-A, the R-A, Retro Arena. Bear with me a second here. Children are coming out to play for recess, and I'd rather not have them screaming in the video, if possible. If you don't do it right, it will fail, so if you put a space here, yeah, see? And here it'll tell you if anything is wrong. I do see... I think I see something. It just popped up quickly. Yeah, I do see a couple files. I'm going to try to make anyways. See, nothing's happening. It's not working. Try again. Nope. Where's the error? Question, question. Well, let's go look around. As you see, I followed those steps above for the making directory and cmake. I already know this isn't going to work, but for argument's sake, let's try this. Oh, where's the error? Let's find it. This is not the issue. We're using a much newer version of GCC, as we're on Ubuntu 20 LTS. So let's scroll up and see what we can see. I saw an error. Let's ensure build essential is installed because that's needed. And it is, so we're good there. It's always good to go over, verify, look, what step did we miss? I'm sure there's something. Oh, I just saw it scroll by. We forgot to check out a particular branch. We want the stable branch. That's why it's always good to take your time and slow down. Now we want to do the CMake again. Okay, now there's very clear error messages. GTK is missing. WX Wiget's libraries are missing. This is where Google comes into play. Because if you just try to type in GTK, it's not going to work. And if you try to type in GTK dev, it's not going to work. There's very specific names in the repositories. So to save yourself aggravation, just go to Google and do this. Now, you see, with this tool right here, or with this apt-get right here, this will install GTK3. So let's do that. This will take a minute. There might be a couple of you out there that were paying very close attention to detail that are already going to notice an error was made. I caught it too, but not until after I already started this process, so I may as well just do it and then explain what's going on. Still complaining about GTK. Why is that? Well, let's see. It says GTK2, and I installed 3, didn't I? The little details are very important when compiling things from source. You have to really watch what you're doing. There we go. Once this is done, I need to address the missing WX Wigets, and then at that point this should compile correctly. But this is basically how you break down the process, figure out what's missing from the install, what's causing it to fail, and then address those errors to be able to come up with a successful compilation. It's not important that you know what each of these individual libraries does, although it is good to know. It's not going to hurt the process if you don't. It's just important that you have the key libraries that it needs installed. Alright, so in the next minute or so this should probably finish. It wasn't that much of a, or that large of a file batch. Type 9 in the comment section if you made it to 9 minutes in this particular video. I'm actually curious, since this is just a tutorial video, to see if people actually watch the whole thing or not. I did have a lot of people approach me and say that I should do tutorials, but then I noticed that the viewership of the tutorial videos is significantly lower than showing the builds and showing things like that. But I'm thinking maybe it's something that'll catch on over time because they're useful, and it's a feature or a resource people will come back to and use again and again over time. That's the goal anyway. Basically just kind of making idle small talk while I wait for this to finish. It should be just about done now. This is usually the last step before it finishes something. I'm also recording during the day instead of the evening on purpose because it's better lighting. Usually my children are around though, so I really can't. There we go. Oh, now I'm missing the Google test libraries. I think it might just be gtest or gtestlib, but Google it just to double check. Always use the internet as a resource. That's what it's intended for. Nope. Wrong. I'm positive gtest library is Google test. Yep. libgtest dev, that's what it was. I was thinking it was just gtest lib or libgtest. I could have figured it out, but I would have probably entered the wrong name 5 times first. Also, the reason you're seeing AMD and not Arch 64 is because this is done using an Odroid H2 Plus. Also with that, you can rest assured that the H2 Plus build will be updated in the near future to be on Ubuntu 20 instead of 18. I know some people out there will appreciate that. Now let's just do that last WX library issue and we'll get that squared away. There it is. Excuse me. Ubuntu problems. I'm not going to restart in the middle of this video, so I'm going to try and see. It should allow me to make now anyways. It might fail because of it later, but it might not. And if it does, we know the solutions just to install that anyway. As you can see, it's compiling now, so I'm not going to keep you guys sitting here. But that's how you go through, break down the errors, figure out what's wrong, and fix it. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.